That's so,
as we're pointing.
right. That's if you want sound while the countdown ticker is going. I don't think
We don't want that. No, because
No.
we always say really weird things when it's happening.
we do.
We
There's
talk
always
about strange
something,
things.
right? When we're like, oh no, we're almost live. We should have this conversation.
So I have a stylus over there for later. I took this off. We could talk about what that is.
We do. All right. So it's Tuesday again.
It is already Tuesday. I just don't know how that it just keeps coming up so fast.
I know, right? It's so quick.
It's crazy.
Hi, Penny. Hi, Lisa's mom.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. So today we thought we would talk. It's funny that we picked this topic.
We picked this topic and then literally got a phone call, not like while she was literally on her phone posting that this is what we were going to do. We got a phone call of needing help with it. We were like, watch us this afternoon. It'll make all this kind of sense.
So we decided, it happens a lot. There's a bunch of straight stitches on the machine.
There's a lot of them on there, and they have really weird things to them.
Yeah, why do I have
all of these?
So we're gonna. Do you? I didn't notice.
Right there.
Right there. The joys of mask wearing.
My mask was
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that today. Can you all hear us? Okay.
So we're fancy.
Yeah, we got new mics.
We're wearing microphones.
As we probably made funny noises when we did that.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone can hear us.
Hopefully that's better, not worse. I can't swear really quiet anymore, right?
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, right?
Let's not do that at all. That would be
we
wrong
have a
direction.
Busy week, don't we?
We do. I can't sleep in it all this week.
No, you can't. So we have our Tuesday today because it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. we are going to do our fill in the blanks program.
So
it's the first
this
Wednesday.
month is that really cute ombre towel. So you guys will get to see that if you haven't already. And thank you for letting us know. That's fantastic. Thank you. So it's going to be super loud. Is it going to be super quiet? You never know. So when you try new things. So thank you for your feedback. We appreciate that.
Good. And then
Friday, tomorrow morning we'll do that stitch out. I don't think it'll take anywhere near as long as the bag. There was a lot last month. The bag. I don't think this one will be nearly as long. So hopefully that hour-ish instead of the 2 hour-ish.
Yeah.
That one ended up. So.
And then Friday we're going
to do the bench pillow that I'm leaning on.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
And it's not going to be it's not going to be a stitch along. So
no, this is Friday is not. Wednesday is, if you have it, you're welcome to stitch along. So tomorrow morning, if you want to stitch with us, fantastic. This is going to be a tips and tricks as we go through all of this fun stuff and sewing version as well.
Yes.
So we will add in don't do this or make sure you do this when you get to the spot, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
This was pretty straightforward. There are a lot of applique, but there isn't a whole lot of wow, I really wish I would have kind of things, but we will certainly go through the individual blocks and
we can probably show them like how to have the quilting design
absolutely.
There, and then add
the design right over top of it.
So they can kind of get an idea and then about the borders because that's a little different.
We do realize everybody's going to be doing it their own way. So, how I did it or how you did it, Sarah, so on and so forth. We may all have our own slightly different version of how we like to do things, but we will certainly
yes, Holly.
We'll certainly go through what we did or didn't do.
The bench pillow information is on our website. If you go to our store, all of the information is there. The prices, the kit, all of that information is available. I am sorry. We finally got our second round of patterns.
Yeah, it was
there were
supposed to come yesterday, and I literally wanted to cry. UPS showed up with the box. It was this big, and I was like, "That's not my stuff."
No.
But it did get here this morning. So, if you've been waiting, they are here. So, I know one of you have been here twice now, hoping to pick that up, and it is here finally. So we do have that set aside for you, and we do have packages that are not claimed yet.
Yes.
So if you have been debating and you decided, yes, I absolutely want to do that, you can come in and pick that up. We'll have those too.
Yep.
So that is tomorrow and Friday.
Yes.
And then next Friday we have
our lace.
Freestanding lace.
Yes.
I'm very excited to see exactly what they do and what they have to say because I love lace.
Yeah,
So.
it's going to be super exciting. Now I'm going to yawn. You started. Oh, goodness.
Thank you for that.
Oh,
her fault. No, it's my fault. That one was me.
Wow.
I started that.
Yeah,
wow.
It's funny how that's catching, isn't it? But yeah, so we have a busy week, a busy couple weeks. We are getting, we got some new fabrics in the store.
You want to see?
Yeah, these are really cute. We also got some batiks.
We got some batiks that we don't remember ordering.
Yeah.
But they're coming. So these are some of the new fabrics. There are more. They are speckles. They have a little bit of shimmer in the speckles. So the gold that you see there, it's more like a copper, but really pretty colors. And we do remember ordering these.
Yes.
So we're very happy to have these here.
Those must have come in a reasonable amount of time.
Because we remember doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're pretty sure that those batiks had to have been 2 years ago or something when we ordered them.
Yeah.
So because I don't remember any of them.
No, it's been a long time.
It's been a little bit.
It's been a long time since we've ordered.
Hot minute since we ordered batiks. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah.
They must have, somehow misdated that order and it just popped up this January instead of last January or something.
Maybe we got somebody else's order.
Maybe. We really don't remember it. But that's okay. More fabric for us, right?
That's right. Yeah, and our newsletter went out. So it was long.
It was very long.
Mm-hmm.
That was her fault.
Yes, there's so much to talk about.
And honestly, we had more to put in there, but we were like, this is way long enough already. So we just nipped it in the butt.
Yeah, we weren't sure how long we could make it. Your screen over there, you must have got an email because it refreshed or something. I was like,
I'm like, what?
That's what I'm doing.
I'm like, is it a mouse?
Maybe
a spider? What's going on? I just was, it's making sure we're all good.
We're all good. We're all good. Oh, did you see my
I did.
It's Valentine's Day, like X's and O's today.
X's and
They're
O's.
so cute.
Clip.
Yeah.
You can hear that
click.
Yes. So I have my glasses with me here today. They're very filthy, just like always.
You think they'll be a little bit helpful when
they might help when I'm talking over there. So I thought maybe we should take those with us.
Yeah. Thank you for being the voice today.
Yeah. Sarah had to go to the dentist.
I did. I had a wisdom tooth pulled yesterday, and I'm doing fine.
She's this old and still has her wisdom teeth.
I know, right? Right. It's just crazy. But I feel okay, but my jaw's a little sore. It's I think it's just from the shot.
Yeah.
The other.
So I get to.
So she's gonna spew about sewing today.
I'm going to spew.
Yeah, I usually spew about sewing and you usually spew about embroidery. But she's gonna tag in today. So
yeah, because quite frankly, even though you have your things and we both do both things. So it's just kind of the way things got segregated back 2+ years ago now. 3.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 3?
3. Whew. I know, right? Time flies.
Yeah.
You've been putting up with me for 3 whole years.
Better than the previous 3.
Aw.
Better than the previous 3.
All right. So what do you say?
Wow,
let's get going with the sewing.
Let's get going.
And then we'll
so
chit-chat
I'm gonna hop over to the other side.
Yes. Don't trip over
try not to drag or trip.
Yes. No tripping.
Get it stuck somewhere.
All right. And we're gonna start with the sewing screen one, right?
With the stitch screen.
Yeah. All right.
So this machine happens to be the P as in Paul, S as in Sam 700. And the buttons on here are pretty much the same. So in this specific series, there are 4 that literally look exactly like this in their layout. Those would be the PS 500. I don't want that. Did you want me to talk about it?
No.
See, we know what's going on.
I know they don't.
It'll be their secret. It'll be our secret from them.
Mm-hmm.
So the layouts here, we've got stitch 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is literally the first 4 stitches on every machine that is an electronic machine that we have. There is literally exactly the same. It might be in a different place, might be on the actual digital portion of your screen, but this is the layout, and they all have the same, we'll call them hieroglyphics for lack of a better word, above them.
Yep.
And this machine in particular defaults to this number pad. Some have a number pad, some don't. I started saying which ones and then Sarah distracted me. So this, if you have a PS 500, a NQ 550 or 575,
Project Runway,
NQ 700,
yep.
The 900, the 950, the 1300, or the 1350. this is the exact screen that you would have at home. So if you're one of those people, we're doing exactly what you would see.
Right.
For
but
people with
essentially
larger machines, it's going to be a bigger screen here and they'd be touch buttons here, but it's still the same setup.
Right. And sometimes you can see all 4 across.
Correct. But it just depends on, again, your size screen and how it's laid out. But stitches 1 through 4 are always going to be the same.
Yes.
So why do we have 4 straight stitches off the get? So in each one of these, you will see the straight stitch itself. And then above that, you'll see either 2 lines, which is this one here, or in this instance, you see a dot above that there. And above those, you have an oval. So all 4 have an oval. All right. Numbers 1 and number 2 have an oval with a dot in the left side of that oval. That oval is going to indicate your needle position when you select that stitch. So if I select number 2, which doesn't work with this stylus, you can see up here that I'm on stitch number 2. And in a straight stitch, your width is going to be your needle position. So that 0 means I'm all the way to the left of my needle position. So I'm at 0, all the way to the left. And that is what that dot in the oval indicates. 3 and 4 have that same basic setup, but we have a center dot. And I bet you guys can guess at this point what's going to happen. It moves to center needle position. So that dot in the oval is just telling you where that needle will be when you select that stitch.
And many people saw the stitch on the screen because this particular machine shows you where your stitch is. You saw that stitch actually jump from one edge. Again.
So right now we're on 3. I'm going to move to 1, and that is at the bottom of the foot, which if you've turned that foot like, ooh, I'm just turning on all kinds of things. If you turned that foot like the direction it was, that is literally all the way to the left. So it's showing you exactly how that would be. On larger screens, you would have that going up and down on the left-hand side of your screen. This one happens to be horizontally. So you can literally see that moving between those stitches. So that's what the oval means. So, okay, great. Now I know why I have 2 straight stitches, but why do I have 4?
Why?
Well, thank you for asking, Lisa. I'm always feeding her to make her say specific things. So this is her chance to get me back. So numbers 1 and 2 are both going to be that left needle position that we talked about. But number 1 has the double line and number 2 has a dot. So I'm not sure exactly how clear you guys can see. It kind of probably depends on if you're on a phone or if you're on a computer, how large your screen is. But it's very, very easy to see that when you are actually sitting in front of your machine. It's very, very clear. The double line indicates that we're going to have a forward and backward movement. If I have, and I don't have that quite on screen, my auto reverse turned on. So auto reverse is indicating how that's going to tie in my stitch, and the machine will do that for me. So I can choose, do I want a forward and back movement, or do I want a reinforcement knot to be created? Depends on what you're doing, which one is going to be the better choice for you. The forward and back movement, of course, puts more thread in your seam. So quilters generally don't use that because they're trying to press those seams open, and you don't want all that thread in there because it doesn't press as flat. So you're either not using anything with quilting, or you're going to probably have that knot. The forward and backward movement would be in a construction stitch. For clothing, bags, all of those things that you need to have that stronger reinforcement on the end of the seam, that is where that forward and backward movement comes in. So numbers 1 and 2 both have left needle position. Numbers 1 and 3 both have the same starting reinforcement point. So you have 2 choices of each. We have center needle positions in 3 and 4. With either a double line or a dot, which is going to be forward and back or not. And in 1 and 2, we have left needle position with a forward and backward tie-in or a knot tie-in. So let's go over to the sewing side of the machine and see how that actually works. So I'm going to start with number 1. So you can see up here, that's my left needle position, and it's a forward and back movement. So I have my my auto reverse is turned on, which means the machine is going to sew that for me. This is going to be fun. I have a little obstacle course over here, so I'm going to try not to knock anything over. And I see Holly said, yes, baby lock as well. We happen to be having a brother in front of us. The baby lock machines are the Presto 1, Presto 2, the Brilliant, the Lyric, Soprano, and whatever. The Catherine was what was before the Brilliant. So those would be the machines that would be this same setup in the baby lock line. So I'm pushing that button like it's going to lower the foot for me.
I know. I like that. Yes.
Did you like that?
Mm-hmm.
So
old school there.
All right. So you guys can probably see here, this is my left needle position. All right. And when I start, I have this going as slow as possible. It's going to move forward 3 stitches. And then it's going to move backward 3 stitches. And then it's going to go back forward, excuse me, again. And I can speed that up a little bit so you guys can see how that goes. When you need to turn a corner, stop, whatnot, but not finishing the seam, all we have to do is take our foot off the gas. So either stop, start button, or
that's a really good point. So to use that locking stitch, like Lisa stopped, right? But
I don't want to lock here. I just want to turn a corner or something else. All I have to do is stop sewing, and I'm not finishing a seam. I'm just going to re-angle to where I'm going, maybe, or whatever reason that I stopped. I'm realigning my fabric to make sure that my seam allowance is still good, or whatever that happens to be.
So she's
but when
paused.
I stop sewing,
yes,
it's not automatically going to tie in. I have to tell it to do that. So you're not going to feed? So how do you do that, Lisa?
Yes, how do you do that, Lisa? Which one of these very important buttons do I push?
This is my start stop button. We most all have that. If you've got an electric machine, you've got that start stop button. That's going to do the same thing as pushing down the foot pedal. All right. This one here is your reverse key. If I just hold that in, I'm going to sew in reverse, just like on every other machine that I've got. But if I just tap it when I have my auto reverse turned on, it will sew backwards 3 stitches and forward 3 stitches. So it will tie that in for me automatically if I have my auto reverse button selected. This one up here, I bet you guys can guess. That's got a dot on it. I wonder what that could mean. This is the reinforcement button. So when I tap this at the end of my seam, it will then create a knot at the end of the seam for me. So I'm going to just go ahead and sew just a little bit farther so you guys can see I've stopped the seam, I've realigned my fabric, or whatever it is that I needed to do. When I am all done, I can push the start stop button, but I can also just tap that reverse and you'll see that it's now sewing backwards. And it's now sewing forward, and it's going to stop sewing.
So did you see that? She didn't actually have to stop sewing in order to tell the machine that she
I'm
wanted,
finished with my seam.
Yeah, that she was completed. All she had to do was when she was getting close to where she wanted to stop, but she just tapped that button.
Yep. Either way will work. All right. But it's one less button to push.
That's right.
And we like less things to do, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go ahead and cut and go back up. So you guys can see very, very clearly that I have a reinforced top and a reinforced bottom of my stitch. It's much heavier thread there. You guys can see that, yeah? All right. So that is the 2 lines above stitch number 1. We're now going to select stitch number 2. So I'm still in left needle position, but how it's going to tie itself in is what's changed at this point. When I hit the start button, it's going to drill stitches in one spot, and then it will start sewing. So here we go. You won't see any movement here. It's just going to stitch in the same place, and then it starts moving forward. All right. Again, I can start and stop my seam at any time, and it's not going to automatically reinforce. I can continue to sew as much as I would like. All right. If I choose to, I can stop before I hit my reinforce or my reverse. So all I have to do to make that knot on this end is tap that. It stitches 3 times in place, and then I use my scissors. Now on this one, it's a little bit harder to see because there's not as much going on. There's not as much thread in that seam, which is what we've talked about. So I have a knot here and I have a knot here. You can actually see that a little bit better on the back. I have that knot here that has been tied off, and I have a knot at the beginning that is going to tie that in. So that is stitch number 1 and stitch number 2 on our machine. Now, if I switch to stitch 3, what I've done, you can see now I have a center needle position. Stitch 3 has 2 lines above it, so it's going to be a forward and back movement. So I've got the speed up to the medium speed now. We're going to go a little faster. We're going to stitch forward, stitch backward, and then it starts sewing. Again, when I'm done, I can start by pushing this. I'm sorry, stop by pushing that, or I can just tap the reverse button. And you'll see it went backwards 3 and now forward 3 and stops. And it's definitely not a straight line because I'm not holding my fabric, so no judgment there, ladies. All right, so you can see here I have that 3-stitch tie in and that 3-stitch tie out. So to go to number 4, it's just going to do that exact same thing, but I'm going to have a knot at the beginning and a knot at the end. So here's what gets people. All right, I'm going to start sewing. I have 3 and then it starts. If I stop sewing and I have stitch number 4 selected, which is got a dot above my straight stitch, that would mean I probably want a dot at the other end. But what happens if I push this button on accident? Look at that. It sews 3 back and 3 forward, and it will always do that. All right. So anytime you hit the reverse button, that is what's going to happen. You're going to get 3 back and 3 forward if you have that auto reverse turned on. Anytime I hit this one, it's going to stitch 3 in place, except I didn't start my seam. See how it just does that? So I have to start a seam first. So anytime I hit this button, it will finish the stitch by stitching 3 in a row.
So what she's saying is that these 2 buttons, they're working in conjunction with the turn on feature. Yep. So if you don't have that feature turned on, the buttons aren't going to work the same way. So you have to hold them in place in order to get them to work. This only works automatically when you tell the machine to work automatically.
You have to turn on that auto reverse button wherever it happens to be on your machine. That has to be turned on, lit up, darkened, whatever your machine does. It has to be activated for it to work. But the buttons on your, whether it's up at the top of the machine on your thread list, that's not thread, your stitch listing, or the number pad, or whatever it is that your machine offers you. What that really means is when you have that auto reverse turned on, it's pre-programmed to start your stitch however specifically you've asked. So if you have a double line, it will start with a forward and back movement. But if for some reason you want it to end with the dot of a knot instead of that forward and backward movement, you have the ability to change that. So maybe you accidentally had it moving forward and backwards, so you have extra thread in the back portion, the beginning of your seam, but you want to fix that. You can do that. The programming is only specifically to the beginning of the tie-in. You can choose which way you want that finish to be. Mm-hmm. So if you hit the wrong button, it's going to do what you tell it to do.
That's right. That's the really important thing.
That's the important thing.
It is definitely going to do it exactly what you tell it to do.
Exactly what you tell it to do is absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we do every once in a while get a phone call of, I told the machine to do this, but it did this. Unfortunately, ladies, that's not normal. What's probably happened is you hit a wrong button, but we will be more than happy to figure out which button that was and help you so that you don't make that mistake again.
Yeah, it happens.
It does. We all hit, I hit the wrong button sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were trying to get your foot to go down.
I was trying to get the foot to go down and I cut the thread instead. See how that is? So speaking of cutting, if you don't have scissors on your machine, you totally need to upgrade your machine.
Yep, we can help you with that.
That is probably one of my favorite things from when I first got a machine that did it. Mm-hmm. What that does is when the needle drops, your top thread goes down beneath the needle. What is this?
Your throat plate?
Throat plate. That's the one. It'll drop down below that. And so both your top and bobbin thread is below that needle plate, and it just cuts both of them, and it gives you about a 1-inch tail, and I'm too low. Sorry.
That's okay.
So I have that tail here. So on the top, I've completely finished, and it's cut and given me a 1-inch tail in the back. That is what those built-in scissors do.
Since you have that already turned over there, you know, this is a question that we get a lot.
Why do we have messy knots?
Why do we have messy knots? So, you know, when you're looking at the bottom of that and the machine is cutting the tail threads for you, so there's extra thread. The thread has to go someplace. And the only true way to get no knots on the back
bring up your bobbin thread and hold it.
To bring up your bobbin thread and to hold it, whether or not you're holding it on the back of the machine, whether or not you're pulling it up to the top
side,
of the seam,
wherever.
the side. But the only real way to completely avoid all of the little mess that happens at the beginning of the stitch is to hold that tail thread.
Have that bobbin thread above the fabric when you start.
Because it just, that tail thread, the thread has to go someplace.
That is absolutely correct.
What it does. And so that's a common thing that people call and they're like, my machine is kind of making this.
It's making a mess on the back of my fabric.
And some threads are going to be a little bit more noticeable than others. Some don't make as big of a knot. And it has to do with sometimes the thread. Yep. It also has to do with, I could stick 6 sewing machines right next to each other. Yep. And they all might make a slightly different variation of that knot.
And you might get a different variation even on the same machine, just based on where that excess tail that's underneath here ended up.
Right.
So if you did something before you stitched and it's now over here, instead of literally clumped right underneath, it's going to look different on the back.
Right.
It literally depends on what that little tail is. So certainly a question we get often.
Yes.
Certainly nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
And you don't have to worry about it. If you are OCD and you can't handle to look at that, by all means, just pull up the bobbin thread and hold on to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
No, I don't have anybody asking any questions. So we'll swing back over to us again, and we can talk a little bit. So like when you use those different stitches, so Lisa was talking about, so she calls it like the drilling stitch. I call it the quilters.
It's a quilter's knot.
Securing stitch.
It depends on who I'm sitting next
to. Right.
And
like I always tell people, like, if I'm piecing, I don't usually use any sort of reinforcing stitch whatsoever, right? Because you don't, in case I have to take that stitch out, God forbid I didn't sew it correctly. I don't want to have to do that, right?
Right.
But if I'm actually quilting, and by definition of quilting, like I'm actually sewing through the 3 layers, when I start and stop my stitching, I do need to lock that stitch in place. And so that quilter's securing stitch is tiny little stitches, and it makes a lot, the stitches are so tiny that you don't see them there. So it doesn't, you don't get that big groove of threads, which makes it a lot less noticeable that you started and stopped. And the trick sometimes is we turned that feature on, but you don't necessarily have to turn that feature on. You can just use that button, and if you can use that button more than one time.
You absolutely can.
So if you're stitching,
you notice when I did and it just did one stitch, that's all it will do if you don't have that on.
Yes.
Or you're not in the middle of a seam.
Right.
That's exactly what it will do. It's just a reinforcement stitch. That's all it is. And I'm pretty sure, not that I've read a manual in a long time, because God forbid, right? They call that the reinforcement button.
Yes.
So if you're looking for something in the manual, that is how it is referred to in your books.
Yep.
So that's the only reason I don't generally use that term, but since it's what's in the manual, I generally call it a quilter's knot, because that's how I usually see it applied.
Yeah. And when you're doing garments, you don't usually see the inside of your seam. And reversing back and forth over top of it does make
it for a strong, so that you don't have, it's a CYA thing, literally sometimes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we don't want that to come apart, do we? No,
we do not. So having a nice, strong seam is very important, and having it tie in is great. We've all been doing that by ourselves for years. Now we have these machines that have the capability of doing it for you, and there are very few machines out there that are an electronic machine that don't have that function built into it at this point.
Yep.
So if you didn't know you have it and you have questions, just give us a buzz. We're happy to, oh yeah, that button's over here on your machine, and this is what it's going to look like on your screen or whatever. So if you don't know where to find it, or you're not sure if you have it, just give us a buzz. We're happy to answer that for you and help you find it and make your life just a little bit easier.
And, oftentimes we talk about the things that are the same about Brother and Baby Lock, and we don't talk about the things that are different. It's ironic, the things that are a little bit different. Like when Baby Lock machines come to us, they are usually center needle position. And when Brother machines come to us, they are usually defaulted left needle position.
Yep.
It's just kind of one of those.
This is another one of those weird things.
Yes.
If you have a printed on piece that comes on the machine, it's a Baby Lock. The Brothers come with the labeled ones. A lot of them have it in the package, but depending upon which machine you buy is which one comes on the machine. There's just weird little things. You know, they generally come with the same thing or act the same way, but there's just little things you know, well, don't you have this? Oh crap, they've got a baby lock. Nope, they don't have, you know, that's not what you're looking at.
Different version of the same thing.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny how the default settings are just a little bit different between them. Their
specific specifications that they have requested to be on there. I need to put the top on
your stylus. Yes.
So this is actually a rhinestone stylus. Did you know that?
I did not.
And it has a rubber tip so that you can flip and it can get a grip and flip over your rhinestones. But everybody always loses it. And so we have jokingly, you know, called it what exactly it is.
It's like the pen, I was going to call it the pen condom.
It is. Yes. You may have heard me jokingly refer to that before in class if you've been to a class with me, but it's certainly it's funny, but I didn't need it for today's and it looks weird. So
yeah, but yeah, that's
I wasn't safe.
No, she wasn't safe. She wasn't practicing.
I wasn't practicing safe stylus use.
Oh,
had to have something inappropriate to say today. Totally. I mean, for crying out loud.
Right.
This has been way too staid for us. We needed to have some.
It's been a pretty uneventful.
Uneventful. I behaved. I mean.
You did. I know, right? Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions about those stitches?
It's only 4:00.
I know, right? This went really quick this afternoon, whatever time of day it is.
Is it 7 p.m. or 7 a.m.?
Right.
Long story, you guys don't really want to know.
I've been
lunch here is always interesting,
right?
Yeah, it always has been.
Yes, it always has been.
We have the strangest conversations over lunch.
Yes, it is funny the things that though it has.
I'm eating pink yogurt.
Oh
God, that's fantastic.
Yes.
So ask us about the pink yogurt next time you guys come in, and we'll explain what that means.
All about it. It was so funny.
It was very entertaining. These are really long cords.
I know, right?
Because like
I know, but they had like 1 foot and then like 15, and there was nothing.
I guess 15 is better.
So I said,
wow, maybe we need to get like a little wire tie or something, and so that it's not a trip hazard of.
If they end up, I think it'll be worth it. We just have to trip once, and then the wireless ones will be.
And then the wireless ones will be worth it. Yes. So it seems like these are working though. So we aren't having echo issues, and y'all said you could hear us.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, now that we're kind of
being able to maneuver around a little bit. So we've got cords. So our new cameras, you can't see them actually. There's cameras just out of range that we've got. So hopefully we can be really fancy and just push a button and switch screens and all kinds of fancy.
Yeah. So
scary thoughts, man.
Yeah. We have more mouse pads in.
So a couple weeks ago we showed these beautiful mouse pads. They are created by Cindy Hogan. And they are Cynthia's Embroidery is her site, but we did get more in if you were wondering about that. They are for PE design, and they're all or palette. They are all of the fantastic shortcuts all in one spot, so you don't have to remember them anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
You can cheat, look those up if need be. So
Kathy asked a question about ruler work foot. Is the needle supposed to be in the center of the foot? So it depends on what stitch you were on. You do have the ability to move your stitch. So if you were on stitch number 1 or 2, definitely not.
Correct. You have the ability to adjust your needle position in the straight stitch based on your width, or on yours, Kathy, you have a left-right shift. But the correct position for it is, yes, definitely in the middle of that. So basically how that foot works is you have a 1/4 inch off of each side of the needle. So it has to be in the middle, or else you're not getting that 1/4 inch all the way around when you're using rulers.
So if it's not, just move the needle.
If it is not, then adjust the needle to the correct position.
And if your needle is centered, I would double check to make sure that you actually have the foot on correctly.
Foot on and straight and nice and tight, so that it's not.
because sometimes they're adjustable, and
Yep,
so
there's a slide
can,
on the side of a lot of them that you can move them up and down, so there's a little room for wiggle, if you will.
So you can kind of get it on an angle, which would definitely make it appear like it's not.
But it should be center, and the foot should be straight.
Can
so
move the needle with the dogs down. Yeah, you can move your needle position with your feed dogs down.
Either with the width button or the left-right shift button, which is located at the bottom of your screen.
Yep.
Absolutely. Hayden, what do you got?
Scissors.
Woo-hoo! He's got scissors. That's not going to help you guys at all. So he's actually,
I think he's helping.
He is helping Miss Dana.
Yeah.
Hi, Dana. So, yeah, that was some super important information that it's, you know, stop.
I'm so sorry.
We need oxygen, evidently. Not sleep. We just need oxygen.
Yes. Wow.
Maybe sleep.
Maybe. Darn cat.
Darn husband.
Darn cat, darn husband. Yeah, it was like midnight. We were watching there was a deer outside the window. The cat was going crazy. It was silly, but it was funny. He was super excited about it.
It was midnight, and our youngest puppy was trying to help lay tile. So there was a lot going on in the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to sleep now. Could we maybe,
Right? No.
So, but I have a tiled floor.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, that's super exciting.
Yes. If only I could get a shower.
She doesn't smell bad.
No, okay, let me rephrase. If only I could take a shower in my bathroom. There's 2 other showers in the house, which I have made use of. It'd be really nice to have mine finished. So it was on the list of needed to have done.
Yeah.
We had the worst shower ever. Actually, about a year ago, my husband is 6'3". He's now about 250 pounds, something like that. So, I mean, he's not a twig by any stretch of the imagination. And the floor literally just cracked while he was in the shower.
Bummer.
So we epoxied it and, fixed it and supported it and whatever. But it's been needing, it was in bad shape when we got the house. So.
Yeah. That's like our bedroom and our master bathroom are the last 2 things we have left to do on the house. And he started the bedroom. But
well, we did all of the floors, almost all of the floors.
Yeah.
And all of the walls when we moved in, which was exhausting. I lost like 40 pounds though, because I worked my tail off. I just need a new house, I guess.
Housework is tough.
Housework is hard. I mean, pulling out all that stuff. But yeah, we had lots of stuff that we've been. So our list is smaller, but still lots of stuff to do.
Yeah. We did a lot during the shutdown. We had a big chunk of remodel done during the shutdown when Dave was home.
My hubby wasn't home. He was still working. And I was coming in here helping.
Yeah.
So neither one of us we didn't get jack done. I cooked. I made new things in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Which has only been bad because now I'm eating them all. That was really good. Let's make that again.
Yeah. Starting new recipes, right? That gets you sometimes.
It does. And then I've just continued checking out and looking for new different things. But you guys know I like to cook. You've heard me talk about food before. So had to bring it up.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a Tuesday afternoon if I didn't say something about food, right?
No.
I need some sugar. That's what I need. Maybe that would.
The Laffy Tappies weren't enough?
Laffy Taffy was yesterday. I ate it all.
I thought you were eating something.
I had a now and later, but I only had a couple left because I ate most of them yesterday. So I need another sugar kick.
Yeah. So hopefully, we talked a little bit about our newsletter. So we have Scan and Cut Club. We have Foot Fetish coming up.
We do. So
and Jelly Roll Rug is finally on the list.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? Piping.
You're doing piping. And that is Wednesday or Saturday, like the 3rd week of the month.
Yeah. 17th and the 20th.
17th and the 20th. Yep. And then Scan and Cut Club is the same days, but at close. So at 5:00 on Wednesday, 3:00 on Saturday. Hers are at 9:30 in the morning. And
when I'm still awake.
Yes, she's great first thing in the morning, and it's just like as the day goes by, it's like zonk.
I've already been up for like a gazillion hours.
Yeah. I just wake up tired, so there is no great time for me. No, I'm just kidding. But I am doing Canvas Workspace, which has doubled in how much I have to talk about because there's 2 versions of it now. So it's
It's in 2 versions?
There's a downloaded version and a web version.
And they're that much different?
They are. The same basic principles, but nothing at all look alike.
Oh,
there's nothing in the same spot or anything. And so, yes, I'm writing notes so that, oh my Lord.
It's
I was trying to like, don't do it. Don't look. Don't look. But that didn't work.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, that will be, mine is actually a free class for a change. And it's just going to be register because I need your email to send it to you and the instructions that I'm typing up.
Yep.
So I do need you to call and let me know you're coming. Otherwise you won't get an invite. So, so yes, Holly, that's the whole point is, I'm going to try to unconfuse everybody, and hopefully not confuse myself in the process, but, you know, the confusing thing really has come down to that it's, there are things you have to do in one place or the other. It's not,
I think the only one that I've used is the online version. Like, I don't think I've ever used the downloaded version.
You never used your roll feeder, huh?
I haven't.
Haven't used that vinyl blade yet?
Nope.
Yeah, see, those are only available on the downloaded version. That's how I knew that.
Yes.
But most people don't know where to find the miscellaneous pieces. So that's going to be part of what we're talking about. We're going to talk about how to Hi, Caitlin. I'm going to have to call you back. Bye. Talking on my watch. Hope it's still there.
Hello.
I got to call you back, Caitlin. And there she goes. My last watch didn't have a microphone in it. I didn't know. I answered it like I was running for my phone. It was in another room and I answered it because I was getting to the point where it was going to go to voicemail. And I could hear him. I'm like, whoa, like I can talk on my phone. I thought that's it too.
Yeah.
It's a little mini phone.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
It was kind of cool. Yeah. It's funny. My very first one, you could talk on.
Oh, but not the second.
Not the second or the third. This is my fourth. Actually, it might be the fifth, but that's okay. But yeah, the very first one, it was like they put it out there and then they wanted you to have a data package to be able to use it as a phone. And I was like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, they did the like my watch. As long as my phone is
within range,
I can talk on the watch. But if I wanted to like walk around the block, there's
your watch was going crazy.
It is because my phone is still attached.
It's still attached.
Oh, look, Siri's trying
to help us. Isn't that fantastic?
Dick
Tracy. Yes, Louisa, she's probably wanting you to know what's for dinner.
Yeah.
There's a text on my phone too. So yes, what are we doing for dinner tonight? You are 100% correct. But yes, it's never dull.
No. Yeah, I didn't call it my Dick Tracy watch. I called it my Go Gadget watch. Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I had a customer come in and she was buying a 10 needle and we were doing the lesson and doot, and I looked at her, I'm like, impossible? She's like, I can't believe you knew that. I was like, I can't believe I did either. Oh Lord. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Wow.
So, okay, well, we've wasted 15 minutes yakking about absolutely nothing. I think we're going to let you guys off the hook and not listen to our rambling anymore. Right. What do you think?
Yeah, so new classes.
Yep.
Next week we have, of course, our live again.
Yep.
The OESD event.
And then the week after that, we have our clubs in foot fetish stuff.
We have, we've already talked a few times about the new cabinets that we have coming in. They're
hopefully next week we'll see them. I haven't seen a shipper, so I highly doubt we're going to see them this week, but hopefully beginning of next week.
We sent that out in the newsletter. So if you guys have
a number of phone calls already,
questions, we are really excited. And
we're
those
very
chairs,
excited.
There's going to be some really cute chairs
that won't tip over.
Right.
2 thumbs up.
And they have storage in the seat.
Gene doesn't get to sit in those. He has to sit in the ones
that tip over. In the ones in the tip over. Those are special for him.
Yes, because he's actually fallen on his butt in front of a customer. Yes, that was priceless.
It was. We felt bad.
We totally did, but we still laughed.
We did.
But we were laughing with him. Not at him.
Yep. No.
Exactly. So, So yes,
anything
lots
else?
of stuff coming up.
Yeah.
I think everything that we're doing is on the website. So
Mhm.
if you don't remember, check out our class calendar online. But quickly refresh tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We will be doing the fill in the blank for February. So that's the first Wednesday, 9 a.m. of every month. We will be doing that until that's not a thing anymore.
Yep.
And
so you should have received your emails.
I sent those yesterday. So there was two. One was embroidery information and one was sewing because the PDFs were just too much to send in one. So my guess is that's going to happen every month. If you were in that group, you will get two emails, not one. If you, for whatever reason, didn't get one and you should have, please let us know. We went through and made sure who we thought everybody was on the list was getting the email, but just in case, if we missed you, you should have received that yesterday afternoon. So that is tomorrow morning. And then Friday, we'll do tips and tricks on the new Kimberbell again, 9 a.m. So that's this week. And then we'll refresh about everything that's going to happen after that next week when we see you on Tuesday.
Yep. So, yeah, look, we're
a few minutes early.
We're early. Yeah. It's a short visit today, but we don't really have any, we talked a lot about stuff already.
We talked about a lot.
Yes.
We have some new thread kits. We have the red, white, and blue thread kits. And we have some starter thread kits, which Sarah and I brainstormed and decided we were going to have a Leabu starter kit for those of you who have somebody that is getting started that maybe you're buying gifts for. So we've got a box set of 20.
Yeah.
And they're, I think, a really nice piece.
Kind of neutrals and
rainbows. And rainbow. So that gives people a little bit of everything they need to get going. So lots of fun stuff. We've got new things in here all the time.
Yes.
And
we're actively trying to fill back up the stabilizer racks. They're kind of empty right now.
We have some holes, but part of that's not our fault because there's stuff that is kind of holy. Yeah. And it's not because it's Sunday. It's because we've had them on back order for a long time. Right. So, but we are certainly working on that.
She wanted us to display the threads.
I can do that. Maybe.
Maybe. Can you get unattached?
So.
Yeah, right over there.
This is a hat. I think so. There's no yelling. So, this is the beautiful red, white, and bloom and Main Street Celebration. So the colors are the same for both pieces. So you only have to buy one thread kit, which is freaking awesome. Still safe word.
Yes.
And then this is only half of it, but that's what I had. We've got our basic starter kit. It's 20 spools. It's $65. And you get the boxes as well. So everything is nice and organized for like I said, especially newbies, but everybody's welcome to it if you just are looking for, basics to refill.
Or if you want to try Exquisite, maybe you haven't tried the Exquisite
thread. So one lid, 2 boxes, 20 spools of thread. And that's what those are going to be.
Hi, Dad. Yes, everything is still arriving late. It's the story of my life. If it doesn't get lost in the mail on the way or delayed on the way, it's delayed at the warehouse when we order it. It's back ordered and people don't know when it's coming. And
it's like a crapshoot. Do we put it in back order and cross our fingers, or do we just keep watching? Because some back orders just keep falling away. Like we ordered those, but there's no back order listed. It's like they went, nah.
Yeah, we're just not going to send that.
We're not going to fill that. So, okay. But so new thread sets. We do have the Main Street CDs, embellishment kits, and fabric kits now back in stock. So if you have prepaid and didn't get one first time around, we do have those now. Plus we have more than those.
A few extras.
So we've got some extras as well. And we've got Surger Month coming up. We're going to do Sip and Surge, but it's like now we're probably still going to be virtual.
Yeah, a virtual Sip and Surge.
So like I said, we have a lot more dates of things to put in the calendar. But we felt like it was already a very overwhelming newsletter because it was like 12 pages.
Felt like it
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there. So
there's
lots of more information, and we will see you guys all next week on Tuesday or tomorrow morning. Absolutely. Depending upon what you're partaking in. And we'll see you guys when we see you.
All right.
Thanks for stopping in.
Bye,
Appreciate you guys spending some time.